Let's start here. Labour matters. Putco drivers say they're not backing down until their demands are met. It's been a week since drivers parked their buses. They're demanding a 6% salary increase, and it's understood the bus company owes its workers bonuses dating back 3 years ago. Yesterday, the Putco depot in Soweto descended into chaos, and our reporters Nqobile Madlala is at the depot, and we have Buleli Jones as well, who was at the Labour Court. Good afternoon, guys. Buleli, let me start with you, because I think the workers have also been waiting to see if there's been any decision. How far are we with the court processes there?
Yeah, we do understand that the lawyers representing Putco, of course, dragged NUMSA to court in essentially wanting the union to reprimand the workers from stopping their unprotected strike. But furthermore, we understand from what I've noted here is that the lawyers say that the unions should convey a message to tell them that the strike is unlawful and that they should desist from what they're doing, as it's affecting thousands of commuters across the province. But most importantly, again, saying that as negotiations are ongoing, as well as they will begin to talk with Putco, they also of the view that Putco should actually go, the NUMSA should go on the media and distance itself from this unprotected strike. I'm joined now by Satawu and NUMSA, who will be speaking to us right now. Mr. Nqobile, thank you very much for joining us on eNCA. Maybe let me firstly start with you. You were brought to court on this urgent basis. Basically, Putco saying you should reprimand your workers and, of course, distance yourself from the unprotected strike. What's the way forward from your side?
Yes, we received the urgent application to come to court today, and we made it clear to the court that we have ourselves. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Would you edit that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. We made it clear to the court that we have spoken to our members and we've asked them to not partake in the work stoppage. And what has happened today is that Putco has come to court to ask us to do more than we have done already. They are asking us to distance ourselves. They are asking us to tell workers to go back to work, and we've made it clear to the court that we've already done that, and we don't see what it is more than what we've already done that we can do. But what we do want to say is that we are still open to have a roundtable discussion with management of Putco, and we call Putco to come to the table to have discussions with us, because we did not start this, and we cannot remove physically people from picketing, because they know their rights, they know what is happening, and that is why we are in this situation, and we are saying whatever the court has ordered us to do, we are going to do it. But we don't think that this is the solution to the ongoing problem between the workers and Putco.
All right, thank you very much. And maybe let me also bring in Pagamila from NUMSA. Perhaps maybe you can just tell us shortly that exemption document as well, which also speaks to some of the demands. When I spoke to some of the bus drivers yesterday, saying initially there was an agreement on the table of a 6% increment as well that was later retracted. But also we're getting the sense that Putco wants you to speak to your drivers, and your drivers are saying, look, we're willing to work, but let's speak about this issue of the increment.
Absolutely. I mean, I support what my colleague from Satawu has said, which is that the fact of the matter is that the problem here is not the unions. This, as you know, is an unprotected work stoppage, which workers themselves have embarked on, and they've done so out of pure frustration with the greedy, selfish management of Putco. And I think we have to be clear about the fact that they're motivated by greed. And this is ultimately at the heart of why there is so much anger from workers at Putco. Here you have a management that has the audacity to waste money that it claims it does not have with frivolous court applications, dragging us to court to condemn things that we do not control. We have done everything possible to encourage members to go back to work. We've done absolutely everything to explain to them that this matter that they are raising is actually already, there's a case before the court that's dealing with this issue. But at the heart of this is the fact that Putco management rewarded itself with 7% increases. At the same time, the 49% shareholder paid himself 60 million rand, and then turns around and tells the public that he cannot afford.
So these are financials that the drivers have seen?
Yes, and these are financials that workers know about, that they've seen, they're aware. At the same time, they're aware of the fact that Putco has made 3 exemption applications, 2 of which they have been dismissed. In both those applications, the exemption committee has said you can afford to pay the increase, we can see your financials, so pay the increase. And this is why workers are angry, because they're saying, how dare you keep going to court claiming poverty when your finances do not back it up? When the exemption committee has said to you that you can afford to pay this money, you are just dragging this whole process, possibly for the duration of the wage agreement, so that you don't have to to pay. And this is why we're saying that they're selfish. We're saying that they're greedy, and this is why, as NUMSA, we've made a call that the Department of Transport must stop subsidizing Putco. Why subsidize Putco with taxpayer money when these executives just pocket the monies for themselves and they don't do anything to try and give back to workers?
So you're not distancing yourself from the unprotected strike?
We are saying we did not call for a strike. This is not a union section strike. However, we will continue to do everything possible to get workers to go back to work, including what the court has ordered today.
Thank you very much, from NUMSA. Of course, we are against time, but essentially what we're getting is that the matter will continue again February 2023. But of course, if you've heard Masejo, NUMSA saying they did not, of course, call for the strike. However, they will continue to ensure that they support the disgruntled and frustrated bus drivers who are affected currently and who have embarked on this unprotected strike, which has caused delays within the transportation system, seeing thousands of commuters being affected in the country.
Really, Tweety Jones outside the Labour Court in Johannesburg. Let's go to New Canada now, where we actually find Nqobile Madlala as well. Nqobile, I can see there that the bus drivers have still barricaded the road, etc., with rocks. What are they doing now? What are you seeing in terms of this unprotected strike continuing?
Well, at this point, Masejo, they're still just waiting to hear what happened in court and what is the ruling in terms of this strike. But just so far, you have the cars that are still there and you still have the rocks that are still there. So nothing has been moved and nothing has been started. So from the time when we heard that there was an interdict, they haven't started any fire. They've sat right on the side of the road to just sort of wait for those results that will come from court. But of course, I can imagine that the impact that this will have on their fight, and that's why I'm going to bring in some of them to speak to us about what they're hoping to get from court today.
Actually, we don't want to hear anything from court because Putco has money. Every time, once there is a clash between the drivers and him, he have to run to the court knowing that he will bribe the court so that the court can favor him. So instead of coming to us and negotiate, he run straight to the court knowing that he has money, will bribe those judges so that to win the case.
So does that mean that the workers don't trust that Labour courts will assist them or will be on their side?
The case was at the CCMA. CCMA took it to the Labour court. The Labour court brought it back to the CCMA. He lost. So now he knows that he has some people at the Labour court that he's going to bribe them so that he can win the case.
So now what do you think is going to happen then if Labour courts decides that you need to, if the interdict comes out and it says that you need to move these rocks and you need to move these cars and you cannot block the road, what happens then?
Actually, Labour court, what they have to do the very simple thing. They have to tell him to come down here and speak with us about the money so that we can go back to the work. Once he gives us our money, then the job will be done.
So does that mean that you're not going to move?
We don't think so.
All right. Thank you very much, Baba. Well, Maseko, you can hear those sentiments from the drivers. They're saying that they still want that conversation to happen between them and the employer. They do feel like there's a third person in these conversations, and that's always court. Now, you will remember that they're saying that this has been going back and forth to court with regards to the money that they were supposed to pay. And we heard also from Pagamile, they're telling us exactly the same thing. But their sentiments is that they want Putco to speak to them directly and not through court.
All right. Nqobile Madlala in Soweto and Puleli Tweety Jones in the Johannesburg CBD with that bus strike. Thank you. Let's leave it there for now.